Good morning, Valley Park. It's Tim Dild, Superintendent of Schools. Today is Thursday, July 30th, 2020. Thank you for joining me for this very important school re-entry update. As many of you will recall, just 10 days ago, on July 20th, we shared with you our re-entry framework. At that time, we cautioned that that was our preliminary and best thinking at the time, but that things could change as COVID-19 conditions continue to evolve. This morning, I'm here to share with you some significant updates and changes based on the continual rise of COVID-19 in our community. Last night, our Valley Park School District Board of Education approved a recommendation to start the 2020 school year for any family that has selected the in-person learning pathway to start that pathway in phase 3, which is 100% distance learning at home. You may remember from the framework and the emails that we sent you that we have asked, and we will continue to ask, families to either choose the in-person pathway, which has one of 3 phases that we can go in and out of based on an increasing or decreasing spread of COVID-19, or one of our 2 virtual pathways, which we'll talk about in a minute. But the board's recommendation is that for any family that has chosen the in-person model, that we start in phase 3, which is 100% distance learning. Now, before I go too much farther, I want to acknowledge that I'm sure this message comes as very difficult news for many of our families, and certainly as a disappointment to the students we love and serve. I also want to assure you, this decision was equally difficult for our administrators, our school board members, and I'm certain difficult for our teachers who are hearing this message for the first time this morning as well. For the last several months, our leadership team has been working intensely to resolve a list of complicated challenges to make it possible to reopen our schools in August. And our teachers, they have been working tirelessly and thinking creatively for a host of scenarios to best educate your students. This has been an earnest and unrelenting effort because in our heart of hearts, we believe and we know that knowledge is best obtained through in-person, on-campus learning when we can provide a safe environment to go with it. That being said, as a community, we must take seriously the alarming COVID-19 rise in our region. As the science of COVID-19 continues to evolve, so does our understanding of the impact young people have in contracting and affecting community transmission rates. Over the last month, transmission rates in St. Louis County have set new records at almost daily rates. More concerning, infection rates of young people have increased by over 100% since the end of June. Valley Park is not an island. We are not immune to these rising numbers. We are not immune to the virus, and we're not immune to the risk that accompanies them. While we believe in the importance of in-person instruction and strive to get back to our classroom and be with our students as soon as possible, our first priority right now must be the health and safety of our community until the health professionals and those charged with the responsibility of slowing the spread of COVID-19 can demonstrate that it is safer for our staff and our students to return. Until then, it's time to direct our energies and our focus towards a strengthened distance learning program that will best meet the needs of our students and to give you, our families, ample time to prepare for the change to enter school in phase 3, which is 100% virtual. In the coming days and weeks, you'll hear a lot more about the depth, the breadth, and the structure of our 100% Phase 3 distance learning model. You can also expect updates from us about the distribution of devices, back to school virtual parent and student meetings, and technology training and other topics of interest that will support you and your families during this time. Until then, I'd like to update you with a few pieces of information that may be helpful to you and ask for your assistance in partnering with us. First and foremost, please remember, we have a deadline and an expectation that families will register for their learning pathway by August 5th. Please log in to Infinite Campus and select your learning pathway. Again, you have 3 choices to choose from, 2 based on the age level. So, your first choice is, as a family, to enroll your student in in-person instruction. Once again, this school year, we're going to start in-person instruction in Phase 3 because of the rise and risk of COVID-19. But our hope is, as the first quarter comes to a close on October 23rd, that we can move into either Phase 2 or Phase 1 as the transmission rate decreases. If it doesn't decrease or continues to increase, then we would stay in Phase 3 beyond that. But in-person learning is one of your options. Then, dependent on the age and grade level of your students, you have a virtual learning option. For our K-5 students, you can choose the virtual blended model. And for our 6 through 12 students, you can choose our virtual learning pathway. Let's talk about the difference of those and how this impacts beyond the first quarter. First and foremost, for those families that are choosing in-person instruction, when the first quarter comes to an end on October 23rd, our district will have a decision to either stay in Phase 3 or move into Phase 1 or 2. For any family that chooses in-person instruction and starts in Phase 3, it is the expectation that your student will return to school when school resumes. For our virtual pathways, let's start with K-5. For K-5, if you select this now, you will start the school year here and you will end the first semester here, meaning you'll be in the blended virtual model from August to December, regardless of what happens for the students that chose in person. To start in August, you will be taught virtually by our Valley Park teachers in cohorts with your Valley Park peers. The difference being, if come October 24th, in-person learning goes to Phase 2 or Phase 1, the families that selected the K-5 virtual pathway will stay online learning virtually. And that instruction may be delivered by a Valley Park teacher, or it may be delivered by one of our teachers in a neighboring district, depending on the demand of students who want that option to start and stay for the entire first semester. At the end of the first semester, all families, regardless of their pathway, will have an opportunity to select from the learning options provided at that time. For our 6 through 12 virtual learning pathway, this is a little bit easier to explain. If you remember and recall, our 6 through 12 students who choose virtual will be completing a 100% independent, self-paced virtual learning experience through our partnership with Edgenuity. Students will work at their own pace and acceleration and complete tasks on their own schedule. This is not done with a Valley Park teacher. This is all done virtually through instructional videos, assignments, tests, readings, etc. We will have a Valley Park certified teacher checking progress and checking in on families and students to make sure they have the supports they need. And parents will get weekly updates on the academic progress of their child there, but this is very much an independent, self-directed learning program. For the students who start the school year on August in this pathway, you will start and stay in it from August to December, regardless of what happens from our in-person learners. Reminder, regardless of the option that you're choosing, you are making a commitment for the first semester because that helps us plan the logistics of all of our programming options. So again, please register for either the in-learning pathway which has 3 phases and will start in phase 3, or choose the K-5 or 612 virtual pathway for your student based on your needs at this time. Just remember that you're committing for the entire first semester. Now, I know I've thrown a lot of information at you this morning in a very small amount of time. Please keep in mind you are also receiving at this time an email and a text that has a letter from me that outlines some of these details, plus provides more information behind our decision. As a final reminder, for those families that are choosing in-person instruction, we will begin in-person instruction in phase 3 and remain in phase 3 until at least October 23rd. As we get closer to October 23rd, in conjunction with the Board of Education, we will decide at that time if it's safe to resume in phase 2 or phase 1 of in-person instruction. Remember that regardless of your options, in-person or one of our virtual pathways, you're making a commitment for the entire first semester. Also, of real importance, if your family does not register an Infinite Campus by August 5th, then you will be automatically placed in in-person learning, and you will be expected to start in phase 3 and then go into whatever phase of learning happens after October 23rd when school resumes. For all families, we will continue to update you regularly through our website, and as we have from the very beginning, update you with text, email, and social media messages. So please continue to stay connected to us through all of those different platforms. Finally, for all of our families who are watching this message today and others who may be watching it down the line, please know we are here for you. We want to help you. We want to be advocates for you and your student. We have already started a help email address, vpquestions@vp.k12.mo.us. Please feel free to submit your questions there. We will continue to review those questions and create an FAQ page of frequently asked questions that come in. So please feel free to submit those, because your questions can not only help you, but could help a lot of other families in our communities. Also, if you need any type of assistance, if you have questions about what learning model is best for you and your family, or you want to understand further what the decision you're making means beyond October 23rd, please reach out to us. Any of the people listed on the screen would be happy to answer your questions, or if they can't answer it, to put you in contact with someone who can. Feel free to pick up the phone. Our number is 636-923-3695. That's 636-923-3695. Again, email or phone call. We're here and happy to help you at any moment. Before I close this morning, I want to recognize and acknowledge that there are various feelings, opinions, and beliefs about the tumultuous time that we're living in, and not everyone is going to agree with the decisions we made today. However, please know that we are acting in a way that prioritizes the health and safety of our students, staff, and families, and also making a decision that provides us the best opportunity to provide continuity of high quality instruction until it's safer to return to our classrooms and our buildings. Please know I am grateful for your patience, your kindness, and your understanding. I'm proud to serve as your superintendent, and I look forward in partnering with you to continue to provide high-quality educational opportunities for all students in the Valley Park School District. Thanks for your time this morning. Have a great day.